My name is Cisneros, the co-founder and CEO of Drnxmyth. And so I wanted to kind of maybe help give a little, kind of thinking that we've had along the way of developing a product, because I think it's sometimes a little hard when you're first getting started what to focus on. And so I think one of the things that we've always initially talked about and wanted to focus on is, what do consumers really care about? And having that singular focus from the very start, I think that was something that both of the entrepreneurs up here had talked about in terms of what they wanted to do. And for us, ingredients were the key. Really understanding what consumers want is a tricky thing, and you also sometimes have to think about it before they even realize what they want. So, for example, for Amanda, people don't like that artificial taste. So it was an easy thing to really hone in on that and say, I like seltzers, I like the kind of refreshingness of it, I want something a little more tapered down. And for Zach, hey, I already drink tequila soda, why isn't it bottled so I can just put it in a can and go? Now for us, it was a bit of a different situation in that we began to realize a long time ago, like Amanda talked about, that fresh juice is what they serve in the best cocktail bars in the world. And it's something that consumers really care about. Maybe, and a lot of times, if they've never had a craft cocktail at Pegu Club, they might not realize what fresh juice does to a cocktail. And so we were singularly focused at the very beginning of trying to solve that problem of how do you get that thing that consumers love and really care about, namely fresh juice, in a cocktail in a world famous bar, but how do you bottle that? Because that's what people really want. How is there a way to do it? And so I kind of want to give a little background of like how we've, and the lengths that we've gone to really kind of solve that singular problem that we think a lot of consumers care about. So Drnxmyth is the first company to use unpasteurized citrus in a spirit product. Drnxmyth is the world's first fresh bottle cocktail, and it was something that a lot of bartenders and people in the industry said, hey, that's not possible. And it was something that was like a age-old thing in the industry. Can't do it. It's going to oxidize. You have no way to do da 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 da. And we were from outside the industry. I'm not. I was an attorney for a day, and then I started jumping into this. So we came into it with a bit of a fresh perspective. And so there were a number of things of how we created the world's first fresh bottle cocktail. It was about an 8-year journey setting out to solve this issue. So the first issue was, I didn't really never been to that many distilleries, which is kind of insane trying to start an alcohol company. I called every distillery in the state of California and said, hey, I'm going to send you some fresh juice, send you some labels, send you some bottles. Let's go do it. Because of the 3-tier system, you got to start at the distillery, tier. And so no distillery in the state of California had the ability to handle fresh citrus, from HACCP, certifications, from ingredient traceability to FDA certifications. And I'm sure a number of you have been to distilleries, and they're not, really intended for fresh ingredients. A lot of wood, it's kind of musty, it's kind of dirty. And so we kind of did something a bit different, and we brought the licenses, the alcohol TTB, California ABC manufacturing licenses, to an existing fresh juice bottling facility. Zach is an entrepreneur in the juice space, and he has another product that's basically a cold pressed juice mixer of the same kind of. So we saw the same thing around the same time. Companies like Suja, Evolution Fresh, were starting to use a new technology called HPP, or cold pressurization technology, and it's something that it was a bit foreign to even the beverage space until about 10 years ago. Every kind of hummus you see in the world, HPP. Any kind of tightly packed plastic meat you see at the store, HPP. A lot of juice companies started to use that, smoothie companies, so they wouldn't have to heat pasteurize their juice, which, although gives you a lot of extra shelf life, brings down some of that flavor. And that's why, like Amanda was saying, at these high-end cocktail bars, they're not using pasteurized juice, they're freshly pressing it, and they're really trying to ensure the highest quality juice for the consumer. And so what we did was we incorporated this high-pressure technology into this fresh bottle concept. So this is the bottle, by the way. And so it starts off like this. The bottom part undergoes high pressure processing, or HPP. HPP is 85,000 PSI of cold water pressure that goes against the bottle. So it essentially squeezes the microbes, kind of like breaks the leg of the cell essentially. and it gives you, 5, 6, 7 months of shelf life without having to heat it up, which brings down the sensorial qualities, the fresh taste, all the nutrients really of the juice. And so because we saw that initially, we're like, wow, we have to use that technology. That's going to prevent the oxidation. That was the old age, that was like, the timeless and memorial problem of trying to bottle fresh citrus. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, draft cocktails, you go to like some number of spots, maybe not everywhere, but at least in California, they're pre-batching fresh citrus, booze, sugar for maybe, a week or two. But we came across an issue where we started to get everything set up, and when you pre-batch the booze with the unpasteurized citrus, it really starts to dull the citrus over, instead of 1 week in a pre-batch kind of keg, 5 months, it's really dulling everything. And so because we had this kind of, very intense problem we wanted to solve to give the consumer really that same fresh quality, experience you get in a bar, but put it in a bottle, we thought, well, let's just separate the spirit from the fresh ingredients, and you can maybe figure out a way to mix in them right in the last moment that you have your drink. And so again, at that point, it sounded kind of easy. 5 years later, a lot of money trying to figure out and to invent this bottle that separates the booze from the fresh ingredients that also undergoes the high pressure processing. Maybe 30 different trial and error attempts, back and forth with the factory, because we called every packaging company in the United States and said, hey, we want to license something to you, or we want to license your packaging technology, give us, whatever. The largest, cap that existed at that time was basically 5 ml of volume. And so we need about 85 ml of volume on the top, as well as the ability to add that high pressure. And so because we were super focused on having that experience for the consumer of what they really cared about, perhaps even, without even them having gone to a high-end bar, we knew that if they were to try a fresh juice, base bottle cocktail, they would really appreciate it. And we would go to extreme lengths to be able to make that happen. And so over time, it's really kind of paid off. And I guess that was kind of one of the things I wanted to impart in that, if you're really thinking about the end consumer and how they're thinking about it, or how personally you are thinking about, hey, I don't want that artificial aftertaste, I'm going to improve it because I'm putting myself in the position of other people as well, and really going to the lengths of figuring out how to do it. It's really going to kind of pay dividends. And so, over time, because we've been so focused on that, we've been able to develop cocktails with a lot of the best bartenders in the world, because they want to be associated with a product that has that same level of quality that is in their own bar. By having those bartenders involved, we were able to bring other brands into collaboration with us, because they were also wanting to be associated with a product that had that fresh juice component to it, and kind of an experiential marketing and co-branding experience for that brand. So I guess I'll just kind of leave it at that. I don't know if you have any questions. Some people kind of have some questions or concern around the bottle or our process, but happy to answer anything, or we can just go to Q&A after.